This is our second speaker. We're going to shortly invite up Mark Langton, who's the Vice President of Sales for RED SIFT. He's going to be talking about the impact of utilising the 4x4 process. He's a seasoned leader. He's got over 20 years of experience spanning giant companies like HP, IBM, CA Technologies, Agari, and now RED SIFT. He joined RED SIFT last year in his current role, where he leads strategic relationships and is driving new client acquisition and retention. Can we have a big round of applause, please?
Well, that's going to be, hear me? Yep, that's going to be quite a hard act to follow. I will try and keep it to 7 minutes. But thanks for the intro, James. Thanks for inviting me. I was meant to be here about 3 months ago, but I had to go to Switzerland. But there's two things actually in the previous speaker's message that I want to pick on, which is, or not pick on, but pick up on, is optimism. And my presentation's about forecasting. So salespeople and optimism, and then talk about analytical. So mine does actually touch on that process. So if you want to move, that's it. So just going to really sort of set the scene. Forecasting can be quite a challenging topic. So what I've done over the years, where I've worked on opportunity sizes from widdly deals through to 30 million plus opportunities, what I've done is I've looked to simplify the process. So when I'm actually engaging my team, there's a few things I want to know. I want to understand, is their optimism actually correct? But I want to analytically get into the detail. So I developed a process called the 4-4 process, and it's 4 boxes and 4 questions. Might seem really obvious when you see it, but it really does work. All my team understand the process inside out. And when I'm talking to them at any point about an opportunity, they will know the answer to these, and then I'll also know, is it a commit, judgment, upside, or is it a pipe dream? So I'm looking for pipe reality when I'm forecasting. Forecasting is something I really pride myself on. So if you want to move to the next set. You can't sell to someone who can't buy. We've all experienced where we have the sales guy, great, yeah, customer said it's going to happen, Bob says it's a goer. But actually, when you get into the detail, you find out that Bob is not the decision maker. And invariably what happens with a lot of technology companies now, where things are really fast paced, it is that the sales team are actually selling into a specific area of an organization. So if I can move to the next slide. And the area they're selling into is the projects box. So you've got 4 boxes here. Top one, vision. You can put them horizontally as well. So you've got vision, board of directors, external vision, internal vision. I'll give you a story on vision about Meg Whitman. I don't know if anyone here knows who Meg Whitman was, former CEO of Hewlett-Packard. Okay, Meg Whitman had a contract with Hewlett-Packard. She got paid $1 a year. That was her contract value. Her return, though, was in stock options. So she had an external vision with HP, which is HP is going to be the best and leading IT supply company in the world. The internal vision is, I want the stock to be $27. So imagine if you were a sales individual or a sales leader, and you understood what Meg Whitman's story was, that her vision internally was to get to $27. And what you did is you called Meg, quite brave decision to call Meg, right? But you said, Meg, I reckon I can get your company to $29 in the next 9 months. I need 15 minutes of your time. She might give you the 15 minutes, but boy, you'd have to have a great story, right, to be able to get beyond that 15-minute period. So it's about understanding your audience and where you sell into. So vision, board of directors, external vision, internal vision, understanding that's really key. The strategy box are the people that actually make that vision happen. So by taking that vision and making that happen, what do? They actually have a whole team of projects that sit underneath them. So we as a company, RED SIFT, for example, we have 5 capabilities. What has been happening prior to me joining the organisation is that the team were focusing on one of those particular areas of technology, and straight away they dropped into a projects box. So the deal values were actually smaller, and what they didn't get is the bigger picture within inside the organisation. So they weren't actually talking to the people in the strategy area. Underneath that, you've got the administration or back office function, really important still. So you've got finance, legal, supplier management, et cetera, all sits in their lines of influence, and the team that actually run the capability. So you'll see on the actual picture, there's what's called the pivotal line of change. That pivotal line of change is if you can get yourself elevated or your sales organisation elevated to the strategy area, what you'll find is your deal values will increase significantly. The time of the opportunities will decrease, so you'll get bigger deal values, shorter timeline, and you'll actually be viewed as a strategic provider to that organisation rather than just a product or a single me too supplier. So that's the 4 boxes. And so when I'm talking to my team and going through forecasts, I actually ask them, who are you talking to in your organisation? You imagine trying to break down BP or HSBC or TUI or Aviva and actually trying to get a graph or a graphical view of where people sit in the organisation. So for me, I simplify it and I use these 4 boxes. And they all know, they call them either 1, which is vision, 4 is the back office administration, or they'll actually tell me where people sit. How many people in here, love to get a show of hands, have had salespeople commit deals, and if you ask them, how many people are you talking to in your organisation, they say 1. And have those deals closed? So it's about a blend. It's about different personas, getting to the right people, and actually using that methodology. The 4 questions, which is on the next slide, trying to keep to 7 minutes. This was a 36-slide deck, by the way, but James said you got 7 minutes, so I quickly ramped it right the way down. It's only 35 now. So the 4 questions, which seem really obvious, sorry if you can't see. The first one is, and in fact you touched on this, status quo. You've got to understand where is the company today and when did they make that decision. But then the next question is, what is it that's actually changed in their environment? Because networks, I mean, we're in security space. That's a massively changing environment. What's changed since you made that investment? There's going to be a gap in there somewhere. The third question, which is, what do you see as the risk of change? And 60% of IT projects don't ever happen because the perceived risk has changed. Dave over there knows how to use that product. We've always done it that way. You talked about that, so it's great that I can hook into your presentation. The key question for me, though, which is one that drives the compelling event, is what's the risk of not changing? And if a customer's not prepared to actually reduce that risk of not changing, there's 2 things. Either they're really not interested in what you got, or you haven't done a powerful enough discovery. And I think 80% of opportunities are actually won by the quality of the discovery that you do with the customer at the start of the process. Don't talk about products, don't talk about features, don't talk about any of that stuff. Actually understand their organisation. A lot of the conversations I have with CISOs are around their team. I want to understand the utilisation, the integration, how are they, what's their workload, how do you focus your team in the right place? What do you do if the alarm goes off? How do you deal with that? So that 4th question is really, really key in what's the risk of not changing. And then the ultimate goal is, which is the last slide, what you want to do is you want to write the news, which means you've won the deal and you're publishing it, you're putting it on the LinkedIns, you're doing press releases and case studies and stuff. What you don't want to do is read your competitors who have actually written the news. So you don't want to read the news, you want to write the news. And that, I don't know, was that 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes? Is that great?